Part 2, personal reading code, CosmicGlow01. This is the part 2. Please do not make it fit if it does not resonate. However, if it does resonate, please go back to part 1. The client has asked how do they get more attuned to a one-on-one conversation, one-on-one channeling, one-on-one signs and synchronicities with their spirit team and their ancestors, as well as any deities or energies to try to work with going forward on their spiritual journey. Part 1 came up with a lot of star constellations and using like a sky atlas. I was called to pull those, as well as fish, and not just because of Pisces. And then it came up too that you may want to look into looking into the knowledge of Athena. I think is what came up in part 1. The water element is going to be extremely important for you when trying to channel and talk to your spirit team. We talked about a blue decanter, a painted blue glass decanter of some sort that you can put out for moon water. Leave it for a night in front of the moon. It usually works better on a full moon. Drink that, meditate with it. Drink it for like a full day or until it's gone after, and do this frequently. But the water element is going to be how your spirit team and your ancestors speak to you the most through that meditation. So spiritual baths, spiritual cleansing, but more importantly, like soaking your vessel in water while meditating. So pools, ponds, the ocean, whatever you can kind of be nearby that works the best for you. But the water element is like calling your name. And you may even look into some Native American culture when it comes to what the water element really encompasses as an earth element. And crystals. So you're going to want to look into some crystals. Now, my assumption would be crystals that have to do with somewhere around the time of your birthday, and then anything associated with the water element is going to be very important for you to kind of have nearby and meditating with them, like holding them in your hand. Nighttime is going to be very, very specific for you, like the moon's nighttime. So you may even look into Hecate, as, you know, the story of Hecate. And wolves came up. I mentioned it as one of the star systems, or associated with the wolf in part 1, because of Hecate and her correlation to wolves. That may also be something very important for you. Hecate is very strong with that dark feminine energy, and that's fire, right? That's the fire element. That's the very masculine energy of things. And Hecate is a badass. So you might want to look into that. So what I was about to pull when part 1 ended was the Mythos deck. Spirit, please help us understand if there's any deities or energies besides what we've already talked about, Athena and Hecate, that this person, this energy here, CosmicGlow01, can look into. It also came up in part 1. And if you need help with this, just reach out to me personally, but you can do it on your own. It is a very good learning experience to get more attuned to kind of the spiritual side of stuff, and how it works is your life path number, your master number, and understanding what numbers are associated there. Those are going to be signs and synchronicities for you. Athens is on this card with a minotaur, which is a half bull. Orpheus. Okay. Interesting. So Orpheus came up, but his true love is supposed to be Eurydice, and music is very important here. So that it talks about how he was a musician in the Mediterranean, and I'm sorry, I'm a little tired and groggy. The Mediterranean has beautiful crystal blue water, and with Athens popping up in Athena, you may look into like Greek culture and may be extremely significant for you. But yeah, the Minotaur talks about a god that kind of a half man, half bull. He was the son of Pasiphae, but how he was kind of imprisoned in a labyrinth, which if you don't know a lot about labyrinths, it's very important to get knowledgeable about them, because from a spiritual perspective, things can be very stuck in a labyrinth, and we don't want to be stuck in labyrinths. Labyrinths can be for protection, yes, but we don't want to be stuck in them, especially spiritually. You may want to break out of your spiritual box in a way. So anyways, it discusses that there's a treaty between Athens and Crete in the story of the Minotaur. Again, Athena's coming up a lot here. There's something about Athena in that story. So Aphrodite also came up. That's interesting, because I almost said something about Aphrodite, but I didn't, because I was more stuck on Athena. So Aphrodite may be very important for you. The goddess of love and beauty. There was never a fairer face among the gods. She was an Olympian, the unlikely offspring of Ouranos' severed genitals, and the mother of Eros. Ares was her chosen lover. Ares. But there is an important star constellation that you should look into with that. You may find yourself at some point on a twin flame journey. Ares was her chosen lover among the immortals, but she was wed to Hephaestus and loved Adonis, one of the few mortals beautiful enough to attract her attention. We know her also by her Roman name, Venus. So Venus may be very important for you. But again, Aphrodite, Venus. Despite her purview, she did not take kindly to being ignored or denied, and she dished out exacting punishments to anyone who tried to resist her, as the love-struck are known to do. Infatuation, recklessness, and devastating consequences often accompanied her influence, but so did inspiration, devotion, passion. That's so funny. The next card was Eurydice. So Orpheus and Eurydice may be very important for you. But Hades and Persephone are also tied to that. So the story of Persephone and Eurydice is actually very similar. Look into those stories. I think you're going to find something very interesting. And if anything pops up about the star constellation, as it is discussed throughout those, if you research them, look into it. Yeah, your soul tribe. You are part of a pretty large soul tribe, and it has a lot to do with the star constellations we talked about earlier, but also there's no coincidence that Aphrodite and Eurydice are there. Athena and Hecate. Your ancestors and your lineage and your soul may be heavily tied to that branch on the tree as it pertains to those goddesses who all followed a very similar journey. If you look into them, they all followed a similar journey. Intuitive power, yeah. A pearl with a snake wrapped around it. You may be very intuitive. You may come from a long lineage of people with intuitive power, and you're trying to tap more into that, but it's something about your environment. So again, the water element's going to be very specific for you, and the moons. But also, yeah, the star, let me pull up the star constellation. Okay, really fast. So Aquarius obviously is the water bearer. So Aquarius may be very significant to you because of the water element. But Hydra is for the female, but Hydrus for the male is the water snake. So look into these star constellations. Again, you may really want to get a sky atlas or start studying the stars very heavily. But let me read this really fast to you. Because the fish is what's significant, and maybe Pisces is significant for you for some reason. And Aquarius, the water carrier. So Pisces, some people, this is that February 19th to March 20th. They're well known for their wisdom and intuition. They're located in the northern hemisphere. As far as Aquarius, the water carrier, that's that January 20th to February 18th. But your energy can capture between these elements. It doesn't have to be exactly when you're born, but it's the 11th sign on the zodiac. People born under that star sign are passionate people, kind, and usually humanitarian.